Hey guys. Um so I think I need to redo the whole playoff machine thing because the last two games with week 11 and week 12 did not go the way I thought it was going to go. And all my predictions, I think I went like freaking won a couple of games out of like 34. That's terrible. So today we're gonna try and redeem myself by redoing these predictions. So Chicago and Green Bay. Well, no. First off, I thought the Raiders were gonna pull off the upset to the Chiefs, which they almost did, and then somehow the Raiders got blown out of the freaking Falcons, which I don't understand how that happened. So the Raiders are 6-5 current, 6-5 projected, and Jesus, okay, so anyways, this is how we can still make the playoffs. Chicago win, obviously. I mean, it's good. Wait a second. Chicago's one game back of a division title? What? Okay. Eagles? I mean... Wait a second. No. Yo. I'd like to know how New York made it all the way back. Pittsburgh, I think Pittsburgh pulled off. Okay, now the Miami Dolphins and the Cincinnati Bengals. That's obviously Miami. The Raiders, hopefully. I mean, yeah. The Pittsburgh. Houston and Indianapolis. I feel like that game is a big one because if Indianapolis loses, wait, what happens if? Yeah, that puts the Raiders back in the playoff mix. I feel like Indianapolis wins that game, and Raiders have to wait it out another week. Now, hopefully, my predictions are right for this week, and yeah. Cleveland Browns and Tennessee Titans. Now, this one's a huge game because both teams are 8-3, and whoever wins this game gets the third seed. It looks like. So if Cleveland wins, Cleveland actually gets. Oh, it's because with Cleveland getting the better, Buffalo having a better result than Cleveland, and oh no, wait, what? I'm so confused. Chicago over Detroit. I mean, Chicago over that one. I mean, now here's the weird one. Oh, of course, Vikings, the Saints. Cardinals and the Rams. Let's see here. What's the team's matchup like? Oh, this NFC West division getting very tight on the stretch. Cardinals and the Rams, that's like a huge implication for both teams. I think the Cardinals are going to win that game. I just don't think LA's been coming out too hot lately. Now, New York and Seattle, I feel like, I really do feel like, somehow, I don't know how New York's going to do in that game, but I don't know how Seattle's going to do in that game either. So, I feel like I got to go New York on this one, just because, I mean, and now, mind you, half my predictions aren't going to be right. I mean, we all know New England. I mean, I think New England's out of the playoffs. And the Eagles and the Packers probably, but as much as I wish that would happen, wait, what is this? Wait a second, I'm so confused on something. If the Raiders still win out, which they have a chance, and the Chiefs lose the last, then what does that do? Baltimore, obviously, and then San Francisco. And now, the Raiders, let's see here, the Patriots, LA, obviously. Miami, obviously, I mean, Miami's just the better team, offensively. I still want to know what that does if the Raiders win out, but the Chiefs lose a couple of games. Raiders over the Colts, I mean, that's just an obvious. So, like we said, the Colts will lose to the Raiders, which causes the Raiders to go down and, yeah. Okay, so now, the Bengals over the Cowboys. Oh, that's going to be a boring matchup. That's like one of those matchups you don't want to watch. Especially with the 2-9 and 1 Bengals versus the 3-9 Dallas Cow. I feel like the Bengals are going to win that game for some reason. Nah, Cowboys. As much as I hate the Cowboys, I think they're going to win that game. I mean, Cincinnati without Joe Burrow, they're done. I mean, they're going to literally... Tennessee, Jacksonville, that's Tennessee, New York, Chicago, Detroit, that's Green Bay, obviously. Oh, since Chicago beat, okay, Carolina, Tampa Bay over Minnesota. Now, that's a big one, because Minnesota looks to be like they're still alive for the division, actually. I mean, they gotta get a lot to go their way, but I feel like Tampa's gonna rob them. Okay, Seattle over the Jets. I mean, the Seahawks are just gonna blow them out. I mean, DK Metcalf, Russell Wilson, the whole squad. Earl Thomas, especially. Or no, Jamal Adams, whoops. The Falcons or the Chargers, after what happened today with the Raiders, Falcons, the Saints over the Eagles. I somehow I don't feel like the Eagles are gonna make the postseason. I feel like they're gonna drop their last couple of games. San Francisco could still make a crack at the playoffs. Surprisingly, I mean, yes, San Francisco can actually make a crack at the division too. Now, the interesting one. What's actually funny is because Pittsburgh, obviously. Now, Cleveland and Baltimore, if Cleveland wins, it looks like they're set up to clinch the... But somehow I think Baltimore's going to just win that game because it's Baltimore, and what else do you need? Now, the Chargers and the Raiders, obviously the Raiders. I mean, the Raiders just matched up better than the Chargers are for some reason. So that puts the Raiders back at the 6th seed, playing the Dolphins, actually. That's actually not a bad matchup, think about it. The Bills, oh my god. The Bills over the Broncos. The Packers over the Panthers. Okay, now, Indianapolis and Houston. Now, what it looks like, if Indianapolis wins, is that... Doesn't look like anything happens because since we've won that game, yeah, okay. Detroit over Tennessee. Detroit over Tennessee. Detroit, that's obviously okay. LA, obviously. Miami. I mean, I think now that's a big one right there. Those two teams are freaking neck and neck at the division title. Jacksonville, oh my god, Baltimore might blow Jacksonville out of the gates there. New York and Cleveland. Now that's a big one because thinking that New York and Cleveland, that's like a big game there, especially for the Giants and the Browns. Because if you think about it, if the Browns lose this game, it actually takes them out of the postseason. But if the Browns win this game, it puts them in. So I think the Browns are just gonna win that game. Seattle, Chicago. I think Chicago gets redemption from that last loss. Tampa, I mean, Tampa is just a better team offensively than Atlanta is. New Orleans over KC. I mean, it's just... I'm curious now. What actually happens if KC loses their last few games? I'm actually curious on that one now. Eagles. I mean, Eagles are still in the thick of it, actually. Jesus Christ. They're still in the thick of it. What? Niners and the Dallas Cowboys. Okay. I think Jimmy Garoppolo ought to be back by the time. So by the time this game happens, Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh might actually go undefeated this whole season. I mean, they're just too good. Now, New Orleans and Minnesota, which is obviously going to be the Saints. I mean, the Browns. So it looks like the Browns will clinch the playoffs. The Raiders. I was about to say, if the Raiders. There's no way then. Wait, how is the Raiders not in the freaking fourth? Wait, what? Don't tell me it's because of some stupid conference percentage wins. I hope it's not because of that, because technically we have the better conference percentage wins than they do. Blah, blah, blah. The Chargers, obviously. I mean, Tampa, Arizona, San Francisco actually would take down them, and now San Francisco is just one game back at second place and then 1.5 games back at first. Baltimore wins that game. So, but then... Oh, the reason why New York still has that 4th seed is because... Wait, has a team ever made that like that? 6-10? There's no way a team could ever make the playoffs like that. What? No, Philadelphia actually wins that game, bro. I swear to God. Well, it's Dallas Cowboys, so... Bro, no way. If that actually is a fight like that, I mean, it's still a 3-way division fight. That's funny. I don't think I've ever seen a team win the division and make the playoffs at a 6-10 record. Especially that's interesting. Especially over a 6-9 record. That's kind of weird. I mean, Indianapolis and Pittsburgh, that's like, I want to put Pittsburgh on upset alert that week, but at the same time, I don't, because Pittsburgh, I know they're going to win that game. They're going to still pull something out. Now, mind you, Pittsburgh has the longest undefeated record for the first time in franchise history, so, mind you. Cincinnati, Houston, that's like Houston right there. It has Houston marked all over it there for some reason. Houston. They are eliminated from the playoffs, so Jacksonville, Chicago, that's obviously Chicago. I mean, I think Jacksonville's just tanking for a new quarterback now. They have to be. You know, what I saw from Atlanta's offense today, I'm not doubting them anymore. I'm automatically saying Atlanta over the Chiefs. I mean, granted, it might not happen, but you never know. There's that, like out of 100% chance, there's like that 50-50 chance that Atlanta actually comes in the Arrowhead and knocks off the Chiefs. There's that 50% chance. Or no, that 30% chance like they do, and that 70% chance that they also blow them out. I mean, but then you got that other 70% chance that the Chiefs could come in and use their weapons very well. I mean, with the Chiefs, you can't guess anymore who they're going to throw it to, especially after today when Mahomes just went off for like 400 some yards, and Tyreek Hill, I think actually Tyreek Hill had a career high today of receiving yards and targets and receptions and touchdowns. Tyreek Hill, man, he's turned into a young stud on offense. I mean, him and Henry Ruggs, and those two were fighting it out for that. You know, I actually want to know if that happens. What will happen if the Raiders and the Chiefs get tied at the same record? I mean, Washington and Carolina, I mean, that one's a bad game. Nobody probably want to watch that. Washington, Carolina. I almost have to say... wait, what happens? No, because if Washington... Doesn't matter if Washington wins, they're still out of the playoffs, because with the Eagles, they still have that tie, and that actually hurts the other teams down the road. Except if you manage to somehow get a win, but that still won't happen because, yeah. Because since the Eagles beat them in that last meeting, so did the Giants. Well, actually, the Giants swept them, actually, now that I think about it. But no, since the Eagles and the Giants both beat them in their last couple of meetings, then the Redskins will automatically be eliminated from playoff contention because of those 2 losses. Actually, technically, you want to count 3 because the Giants swept them. So, if you want to be technical there. So, that's why Washington's out of the playoffs right then and there. Seattle and LA. Now, that's a big game, actually, for the NFC West. Because, now thinking about it, if LA wins that game, I think that actually ties them up for that second place. Yep, that ties them up. But then if since San Francisco won, that's only 1 game back of a division. So, the NFC West is really tight again for that number 1 spot, like it was last year. But then, if you were to have Seattle win that game, then that would pretty much clinch them the division title. Because they already had that 11th win, and LA would have had that 6th loss, which would have granted Seattle the division title and a tiebreaker. And so, you always need LA to win that game in order to keep their division title hopes alive. And with the way LA's been playing the last few games, especially today's San Francisco, I don't think they're going to have a chance. I mean, they look good to start the season, but they just fallen off since then. Of course, I can't speak much for the Raiders. I mean, granted, yes, we've had 2 slipped off games. The Falcons, I mean, well, it wasn't so much the Falcons, it was the refs. It was the officiating crew. I mean, I'm thinking they were looking at that Jets game from last year and going like, oh, what dumb calls can we pull off against them this time? Holding, passing, yeah. But now you get the gist. Tennessee and Green Bay, I mean, Tennessee and Green Bay, that's like a run for the money right there because they're both almost at the same record. But Derrick Henry, I mean, he has times at running over teams. It's kind of weird. So, at this point, I would have to go to Green Bay. But it doesn't matter, because if you choose Green Bay, Chicago would still hold the division title, hold the tiebreaker over them from that like, win or something. Buffalo, obviously, I mean, that actually takes Baltimore out of the playoffs right then and. Now, the weird week is because, wait, what happens if KC loses and the Raiders? Wait, what? Wait, oh, it's because we had the better percentage in division games, that's why. So it's going to take a miracle for us to to get the division, but we still have the division on our hands. Granted, it's going to take a miracle, but we could... Nah. Wow, we could still pull it off. That's kind of funny. I didn't realize we could still pull it off. Miami, Buffalo. That's like a... Nah, but... Oh, that's the AFC East title right there. Ooh, that's like the AFC East title. Basically, the loser of that game bounces to the 7th seed. Wow. No, the loser of that game actually gets eliminated. Now that I think about it. Wait, what happens if Buffalo wins? Then Miami gets eliminated. What happens if Miami wins? Then Buffalo... Oh, this game... So basically, if that were to happen this last week, then it would be like a elimination game for both teams. Because the loser would get eliminated while the winner would go to the wild card round to face the Chiefs. Wait, let me see Buffalo again. Oh, yeah, because we hold the division, because they hold the tiebreaker over us. So you're almost wanting Miami to win. No. Doesn't matter. I'd much prefer Buffalo to win that game than Miami. I mean, because then we would be able to play the Chiefs at home again, try and get revenge on them. I mean, that's just me personally, because I really don't want to... I mean, granted, you're going home to play the Ravens, but with how good the Ravens are, I mean, granted, they haven't showed it over the last few weeks, but with how good they really are when you think of it, especially last season, they can really put up some numbers on the defense. And, I mean, granted, yes, we might have to play them in the playoffs when we do make it. I'm not saying we won't, but I'm not saying we won't make it. But if we do, we might have to play them, and then the defense might have to be prepped because there's only one first round bye this year. Well, actually, no, there's one first round bye yet forever because now there's only one team working for that first round bye. There's no longer two or no tiebreakers. I mean, the Steelers, I think they ran away with it. I mean, obviously. Now, in order... wait a second. What happens if Cleveland wins against... It doesn't matter because since... Wait, what? Las Vegas... It's mentioned nothing about... Wait. Whoa! Then you want Pittsburgh to win that game against... You actually want Pittsburgh to win that game then. I mean, right, it'll put them at a perfect record, and we'll have another undefeated team in the playoffs. But that actually might be interesting. Mahomes versus Ben Roethlisberger. That might actually be interesting. The two Super Bowl champion quarterbacks? Is Ben Roethlisberger a former Super Bowl MVP? I don't know, I'll have to search that up. But anyways, Patriot, I think the Jets just go 0-16 completely. I mean, they're 5 games already away from it, so... Baltimore... And it still don't matter. Because either way, we're going to have to match up against Baltimore. I would almost have to think that Baltimore is going to rest their starters. I mean, they don't care. I don't think they would care if they lose at that point. I mean, you would almost think that Baltimore had to rest their starters. Cleveland, Cincinnati, which had a disappointing season. Tennessee, obviously. Indianapolis. New York. Now, this is the only question. Philadelphia. If they win this game against Washington, then that eliminates the Giants. But the Washington Redskins, or the Washington football team, I'm still calling them. Okay, whatever. Washington Redskins beat the Philadelphia Eagles. Then that eliminates the Eagles, which gives the Giants that 4th spot, I think. Yeah, the 4th spot. Which would be really weird considering since a team who started 0-5. I don't think a team's actually done that, actually. Started 0-5 and made the playoffs. Now that I think about it. I don't think a team's ever done that. I don't know. But I find that really weird if the Giants do pull that off. Especially with the 7-9 record, because I don't think a team's ever made the playoffs at a 7-9 record. No less than a 6-10 record. I mean, you've seen teams do that, somehow pulled that off. But I'm sorry, but Washington, they're getting there. They're getting there. Just done enough. I feel like the Giants get eliminated. But it doesn't matter with that tiebreaker because... Let's see here. If I can pull it up. Nope, it doesn't show it. 3rd seed AFC West champs because also when the tiebreaker over Tennessee best... Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. Chicago over Green Bay. Now that's like a big game right there because now both teams are fighting for a division title. And which one team, because and they're also in Chicago. Cold Chicago during week 7. Oh, that's like a big game right there. Wait, what happens if Chicago wins that game? The whole playoff picture changes. And then they'll have the rematch again. It doesn't matter anyway, they'll still have a rematch, which is kind of weird. So, you would almost want to take Chicago in that game. I mean, especially if you're a Chicago Bears fan. If you're a Chicago Bears fan, you would almost want Chicago to win that game. Because when you guys match up in the playoffs, again, then you'll have that home field advantage going into the playoffs, which will be big. I mean, it's not really going to be that big this year because of the no fan thing, but it'll be at least sending a message to your team saying, hey, we can win this game at home. And then, like the Raiders. I mean, granted, they won Cleveland, but they can actually come home, get some rest, and then be ready for this playoff game at home against the Browns. And the Browns have never been to Vegas, I don't think. Now that I think about it, because I wonder what the temperature would be in Vegas during January, though. I don't even know, because I've never really been to Vegas. I wouldn't know what the temperature is. I didn't know if I knew what the temperature is, I would have told you guys, but I never know what the temperature is down in January. Because it was like 2016, I didn't even know we were relocating until Mark Davis said something, but, you know. After this, we'll search up the Aaron Rodgers thing, or the Ben Roethlisberger thing. Detroit, Minnesota, obviously two teams that have struggled down the stretch in the predictions. I mean, now if you're just Detroit, you're getting out of the season so you can find a new head coach and GM. So you almost want Minnesota to win that game. New Orleans, this is big because, well, no, it's not really big because now that I think about it, they can lose this game still and still hold the number 1 seed. I mean, granted, you want to win because you want that best record in the NFC, but I mean, like stating that you're the best record in the NFC on season, then that tells you that you want to win this game, but at the same time, you also want to rest your starters for that. Yeah, but then that won't make sense because if you rest your starters, you're automatically giving your starters like 2 weeks off. Because then you'll have clinched the first round bye. So that would make no sense. But if you don't rest your starters, then you have a high chance of one of them getting injured. A bad injury, which will cause them to be out for the playoffs. So basically, if that was the case, New Orleans would be in a no-win situation here. That makes no sense now that I think about it. Because now that I think about it, if New Orleans were to do that, that would actually make no sense. And yeah, that would actually make no sense. So you almost want to win that game. And then have your starters out the next, well, yeah, because you automatically have that bye week, so. I don't know, some of the things the NFL does just doesn't make no sense with the teams. Atlanta, Tampa Bay, that's a huge game for actually Tampa Bay, actually, now that I think about it. Because it looks like if they lose this game, they're out of the playoffs. Yeah, because, well, actually, now that I think about it, I don't know yet. We'll see how that all works. Well, actually, if you want to get, oh, that's actually a big game, actually. Because now that I'm thinking about it, you can actually, holy shoot. Oh my god, the division rival. Oh dear. Oh boy, okay. That's like a big game for the NFC West right there. Now, if you're like a Seahawks or Niners or Rams fan, you want Rams to beat the Cardinals. But then you would be in a no-win situation here with the Rams unless somehow, miraculously, that would actually make no sense because then you would need to win one of your other games. And since the Rams lost to the Niners today, the Niners actually hold that division tie over them right now. So it'd be like a, you would be in a no-win situation. Wait, what happens if they were to tie that game? Yeah, you would be in a, yeah, so this is what I think might happen. Now, granted, it's not, I'm not sure if it's going to happen. But I have a pretty indication. I mean, it's a prediction. So, but with all that being said, I'll catch y'all later. Peace.